Welcome back, everybody, to High and Tight, a part of the geeksandgamers.com YouTube Sports Wars Network. I'm your host, Brandon Andreessen, and as always, before we get going, if you like the content we're providing you here, go ahead and click down on the subscribe button. Get all the latest content we have to offer. College football season is coming up towards the playoffs. NBA season has started. NHL season has started, and football is in full swing. The only way to get all the stuff that we have to offer is to subscribe right now. I'm here, as always, talk about baseball. It's World Series time, and we have two of the most storied franchises in Major League Baseball history, the Dodgers and the Red Sox, going at it. The Red Sox have had some time off, which everybody's saying is good. We need time for this team to rest, relax, get their pitching rotation in order. But the team that has clinched first and gone to the World Series from the Championship Series hasn't actually won a World Series since the Phillies in 2008. So actually, momentum is not on their side. Momentum might not actually be that important, as opposed to rest might not be that important. What is important are X-Factor players like Mookie Betts, who led Major League Baseball this year with a 10.9 WAR, and J.D. Martinez, who led the league in total bases. The offense for the Red Sox is a juggernaut, has showed absolutely no signs of slowing off in the playoffs, batting .280 in the playoffs against, generally better pitching staffs. Even the teams that they face tend to, your pitching staff in the playoffs tends to shorten, so only your best guys are going out there. Red Sox seem to have absolutely no issue with it, beat the crap out of people. Their big question mark is their pitching staff. Their game one starter, Chris Sale, was hospitalized last week with a stomach infection, which he jokingly said was from a belly button ring, but much more likely is from anti-inflammatories he was taking for his bad elbow, which probably tore up the stomach lining. It's happened to me before. It happens. It sucks. And when you have to come off that, if your elbow still hurts, there's going to be serious questions whether Chris Sale is going to be effective pitching for more than maybe 3 or 4 innings at a time, which means they would have to turn it over to the Boston bullpen, which is possibly the biggest question mark of the entire series, because the bullpen, while having the second best ERA in the American League during the regular season, got progressively shakier as the year went on. This is led by their closer, Craig Kimbrell, who still turned in a 3-to-1 strikeout-to-walk ratio, but he struggled with command late in the year. And it feels like the Red Sox bullpen is kind of a ticking time bomb at this point. They've been resorting to using starters in key moments like Rick Porcello and David Price. Those guys are also going to have to be in the rotation, though. So with a schedule like it is for the World Series, they might be in trouble if their starters can't effectively go 6 innings every time out there. For the Dodgers, the X factor is Hyun-Jin Ryu. He missed about 4 months of the year, but came back just in time during down the stretch. Sub-2 ERA, looked like the best pitcher in baseball at times. He's going to be out there he'll be out there for game 2. Clayton Kershaw's out there for game 1. Has never pitched in Fenway Park before, but when he is on, it is still a fact that Clayton Kershaw is possibly the best pitcher of our generation. If he's on and Ryu can get a win, that says a lot of the pressure to the Red Sox going into L.A., losing their DH, and having to then face Walker Buehler and Rich Hill, followed by Clayton Kershaw again in L.A. The Dodgers are starting 3 lefties, which shouldn't bother the Red Sox one bit. Their splits in the playoffs were something like 284 against righties, 279 against lefties. And if you average it out and equalize how many at-bats would have gone, they hit basically the same amount of home runs, had basically the same amount of extra base hits. Nothing is going to stop this Red Sox offense unless the Dodgers pitching staff can absolutely dominate them through 7 innings and get them to the back end of that bullpen, where the Dodgers are still shut down and are markedly better than the Red Sox. Offensively, it's not even close. The Dodgers have batted about 218, 220 through the playoffs. They've been helped by timely hitting and pitching. They've not been able to carry things. And what the Dodgers have been able to do, though, is they have been able to roll over the hot teams. The Braves were the hot team coming into the playoffs, knocked them out. The Brewers hadn't lost in nearly a month when they got to the Dodgers. The Dodgers knocked them out. They aren't going to be afraid of the Red Sox. And this is basically the same team that went to the World Series last year. They are intact. They do have experience. They should be well equipped to handle the Red Sox in a World Series matchup. On paper, the Red Sox are better, but with the pitching staff having underperformed fairly consistently, it's going to give you pause and a lot of question marks. And the biggest thing is this: Major League Baseball still operates under a 2-3-2 format, which means the first 2 games and the last 2 games will be in Boston, but the middle 3 are in LA. If the Dodgers can win one of the first 2 games and move the series back to LA, either tied or up 2-0, the series might be over, because the Red Sox, where they are most key, is on offense, and they lose one of their offensive players. And they're going to have to decide whether they want to have better offense or play better defense when they lose the DH rule, because their pitcher is going to have to bat theoretically at least once and possibly at least twice if the pitching staff is rolling a little bit. It's worth noting that the Red Sox, they don't fare as well without the DH. They haven't traditionally fared as well without the DH. This is very much a team built as an AL team to have an extra defensive player in late game situations, but not necessarily a bench that's going to really scare you, I guess is the proper way to put it. The Dodgers, on the other hand, like I said, are battle tested. This team went through it last year. They're back, and their pitching staff is arguably better this year right now at this moment than they were last year. Gun to my head, if I had to pick, I'm taking Dodgers in 5 games. I think they win game 1 tonight, and I think they put the Red Sox back in their heels. Red Sox get a little panic. They lose game 2. And all of a sudden, the Dodgers only have to win 2 out of 3 in LA when they have a massive, massive, massive advantage, as all NL teams do during the World Series. Give me the Dodgers in 5, and let's just have some good games, guys. We've had a great playoff so far. We arguably have 2 of the 3 best teams making it. Sorry, Houston Astros, you got buzzsawed off. Maybe next year. I'll be back later on this week or early next week with my MVP, Rookie of the Year picks, and so on. And I'll be back to bring updates on the World Series and so on and so forth. If you want to check me out any further for Geeks and Gamers, check out geeksandgamers.com's iTunes page or Podbean. You can check out the Pro Wrestling Nation podcast that I host every week, week in, week out. All the wrestling news that you are equipped to hear, I got it for you. All right, until next week, guys. Talk to you later. Peace.